Drinking Norbert.
I still have 2 minutes before running away from it, Norbert.
How many people are you expecting, Peter? Okay.
Peter?
Normally it's between 40 and 50 people that we have in those webinars. You know, we do it every month, and it's always the last Tuesday of the month at 4 o'clock. We have a fixed time just to make it a repeating thing, and also to oblige us to find something every month. Okay, I'll let the other people in now.
Yeah, you can do that. Sometimes they are not 40 present if they are very busy, but then they look at the YouTube channel. So it all depends. But I saw that there were more than 40 subscribed anyhow. So that is good.
Really good. Yeah. 1 second.
Okay. Oh. See you later, gentlemen. I will cut my.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. For those who have joined us already, let us wait a couple of more minutes before we start the meeting. Our two gentlemen friends, Norbert and Dave, are already there, so we are ready, but we're just going to wait a little bit more to have some more people joined. If I can ask you to put you on mute, then it will be much easier for our presentations. Thank you.
Het merendeel is betold.
Yes. Or maybe I let those who didn't put it on mute, let them sing a song.
Now it's gone quiet, Peter.
Yes. It's a good trick, huh? Okay, welcome everybody. For those who have just joined us, let me ask you first to put your button on mute, please, so that we don't hear any disturbing noises. And for your information, this will be recorded, so those who want to see the presentation again or show it to their colleagues can look at it afterwards. So I'm very proud to present two friends who have some very interesting info to share with us. We have Dave from Universal Parks and Resorts, and we have Norbert from Seaworld Parks and Entertainment. Welcome, Dave and Norbert. And well, Dave, we decided that you'll go on first, so the floor is yours, Dave.
Thank you, Peter, and hello, everybody. Good to be with you this afternoon. I am going to use my 20 minutes today to update you. Get a little bit of feedback there. I don't know why that is. To update you on all things both Universal Orlando and Universal Studios Hollywood. So for those people who haven't met me before, these are my details on the screen. We have an office over here in London, and we look after both the UK, Ireland, and the European source markets, and I look after the Belgian market myself. So these are my email details if you should need anything after the meeting today or in the future. So what I'm going to do is, just to start off, I am going to show you a little Universal Parks and Resorts video.
Look at it! Oh my gosh! We're literally going to Hogwarts right now. This place is amazing.
So just a nice little brief introduction to Universal Parks and Resorts. So we look after all the North America parks, basically. So I'm responsible for Orlando, which we see here on the map, and also Universal Studios Hollywood. Normally we spend more time talking about Orlando because this is obviously a very different proposition to Hollywood. Hollywood being the one theme park and the movie studios, whereas here in Orlando, as many of you know, we have not only 3 theme parks, but we have 8 hotels and 9,000 rooms on site now. So our hotels run from the left-hand side of the map. You see Endless Summer Resort. These are our most recently opened hotels of Surfside Inn and Suites and Dockside Inn and Suites. And they are our new entry-level hotels, like a 3-star, a 3-star, but certainly much higher grading. When you walk into these hotels, you wouldn't believe that they are 3-star, and they sit on International Drive and the junction with Universal Boulevard, which leads up to City Walk and into our parks there. For just a reminder for any of your customers who are not staying in a Universal hotel, obviously we recommend that they do, because they get the real full Universal experience. But if not, and they are driving to come to any of our 3 parks, they would park their car in the City Walk area there and then either walk through to Universal Studios on the right hand side or Islands of Adventure in the middle, or they would then leave their car and jump on a separate bus which takes a private road over to Volcano Bay. So there's no parking at Volcano Bay, but you use the City Walk car parking there. But as I say, we now have 9,000 rooms on site, which means that we have so many different types of hotel, and also we have various different price points as well. So therefore, families, and maybe I know here in the UK, that could not afford to stay at Universal in the past, now find it much more affordable in certain hotels. And we have a real variation, and not forgetting that over in places like the Royal Pacific, the Hard Rock Hotel in the Portofino Bay, you have the Express Pass included as well. Currently going on in the parks, it's Mardi Gras. We've had Mardi Gras on for the last month, and it runs until April the 16th. So still another 6 weeks or so of Mardi Gras. It's very spectacular this year, as always. The parades are back, the throwing of the beads. Customers, when they're actually in the park, if you have anybody going out in the next 6 weeks, if they check on the Universal Orlando app and have a look at the virtual line tab on the app, there is possibilities every day. We have places available on the floats. So if customers really want to try and get in there, they can get onto the floats and actually throw the beads out into the crowds, which is a really great thing to be able to do. And as well as the Mardi Gras parades, there's so much emphasis on food. So lots of different food stands all the way around, not only flavors of the Deep South, but also we've kind of made it now a little bit more like they do at Epcot, where you have the food and wine, where so many different stands of food from different parts of the world, where you can enjoy a little bit of food and some of the favorite drinks from that destination. So yeah, we still have Mardi Gras happening now until the 16th of April. Just when I mentioned City Walk there before, this is the first port of entry really when you come into Universal. I wanted to mention that one of the changes that we've made more recently is we have during the pandemic closed down one of the big nightclub areas in City Walk, and we have created Universal's Great Movie Escape. So rather than being escape rooms that you maybe know, they are escape rooms, but we'd like to call them escape adventures, because we have themed these two amazing rooms based on some of our most famous Universal Pictures movies. So you can take part in Back to the Future. Out of Time is one of the two rooms where you find yourself in the genetics lab, and then you can also find yourself trying to avoid becoming the prey of the dinosaur in this escape room, which is Jurassic World Escape. So these are two new features in City Walk. You cannot book these at the moment in advance of travel, but it's good for your customers to know that there's something new and different within City Walk. And if people really love their escape rooms, any of your customers, then they can definitely enjoy this when they visit next time to Universal. Also, for those of you who are aware of Universal Studios itself, you'll know that when you walk past our famous globe and you walk into the park itself, the first attraction you come to on your left-hand side is the Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, which is probably our most popular 4D theatre attraction. Well, now what we have coming soon in the summer of this year is the Villain Kong Minion Blast, which is a brand new attraction which is being built at the moment where Shrek used to be. So if you remember, Shrek was right opposite the Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. So all of this area is now being changed into a Minion Land, if you like. So if you know The Simpsons and we have the whole of Springfield, well, when you walk into Universal Studios from the summer, you're going to be walking into a Minion Land, which will also have a Minion Cafe as well on there. But the actual ride itself, when it opens, this is going to be very much high-tech screens, gaming on like a physical set. It's going to have a moving walkway, and you're going to have interactive blasters, and you're going to be able to shoot different targets and everything. And it's based on the latest Minion movie, The Rise of Gru. If anybody saw that in the movies, the idea is that have you got what it takes to become the newest member of the Vicious Six gang, which was part of you go into the biggest criminal convention on the planet, and it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a fantastic new attraction to sit alongside the Minion Mayhem we already have, and with the Minions Cafe, it's going to be a great introduction and a great first thing you see when you walk into Universal Studios. So we haven't got an exact opening date yet, but we know all of this is going to open and change the entrance into Universal Studios in the summer of 2023. Still, the most popular attraction within our parks, most definitely, is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. And I say this because all of the family can really enjoy this ride. So just to talk over this video, which you might have seen a little bit of before when we opened the ride, it shows you what the attraction is like. Hagrid's motorbike and sidecar, so two different ways of flying. We created the Forbidden Forest with 1,200 live trees planted, and the motor car and the sidecar whizzes through at speeds of up to 50 miles an hour. It really takes your breath away. A very exhilarating ride, and like I say, it doesn't go anything too crazy like backwards and forwards. It does go very fast at times, but I think for that reason the adults and the children really enjoy it. So it still is very much the most exciting and thrilling ride within the wizarding worlds of Harry Potter in Universal Orlando. And then, of course, I always have to speak about this roller coaster, because for those people who really love their big roller coasters, we opened Jurassic World Velocicoaster now in the summer of 2021. So already time has flown by so fast. It's nearly 2 years, 2 years there and 2 years open. But yeah, still, if you haven't seen this before, this is a high-speed roller coaster. It's set over the lagoon at Islands of Adventure. It really does take your breath away and more. And for this reason, I'm going to let our American friends tell you all about this roller coaster. If you haven't seen this video before, it makes me laugh because the Americans are so enthusiastic about it, much more than the British would ever be. So when we opened the ride, this was the opening scenes we made for this little video about the Jurassic World Velocicoaster.
It was unbelievable.
Gotta ride the Velocicoaster. You have to do it.
It was crazy.
Fire.
Insane.
It's like everything.
Jurassic Park has been my favorite movie franchise of all time.
I love the movies.
Everything in the queue feels like you're in Jurassic World.
It's immersive. They have raptors in the queue line, which I thought was incredible. First time I walked in there, I was blown away.
They're like scary, like when they start shaking their cages.
It's gonna surprise you guys.
Yeah.
From the jump, you're moving fast. They pull you back, goes like a bullet.
My eyes were watering. The ride was so fast.
All the twists and turns are like really awesome, and I don't feel like I've experienced a roller coaster like that before.
When we're coming through the rocks, the Velociraptor kind of pops out at you.
Definitely feel like you're a raptor in the past.
You think you're about to be finished engaging, and then it speeds up even more.
Speed, you keep pushing.
All of a sudden you take off and you're at the top.
And then the drop. That drop?
You feel like you're floating up, you're coming down. That was crazy. I definitely like the roll at the end.
The roll at the end, for sure.
Your butt comes out of that seat every time. It's perfect.
Because you feel really, really weightless, and it's really fun.
It's that perfect mixture of theming, intensity, but it's also really smooth.
Best experiences on a coaster that I've had ever.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 10.
11, 13, 14, 15. Broke my scale.
Best roller coaster I've ever been on in my entire life.
The best roller coaster in the world right now. Hands down.
I want to go back on.
Amazing University, thank you.
And so to say, alongside that, obviously Norbert's going to come on and talk, and I know, you know, we're opening roller coasters like this, and so are Seaworld and Busch Gardens and everything, and it's just amazing. More things for customers to go out to Orlando to experience, which is great news. And one thing to say about the Velocicoaster, that as from Monday just gone, this Monday, we have now opened an express line on the Velocicoaster, so it didn't have that previously. So that's great news for anybody staying in our Premier hotels where you get the express pass included, or if you're purchasing express before you travel, then the Velocicoaster now has an express line as of this week. So that's great news as well. So that's the Jurassic World Velocicoaster, and I think there's a few people on this call today who maybe tried the Velocicoaster either on their previous holidays or at IPW last year when we were all there. I just wanted to mention a little bit on the hotels, just to mention, I just talked about Universal's Endless Summer Resort, which is the old land where Wet and Wild, the old water park, used to be. Now have these two amazing properties, which are our lead-in properties, and they form part of our 4 categories now. So we added the value category when we opened these hotels. And so now we do have the 4 categories along there. And the easy way to sort of determine just what you get within these hotels simply is on the left-hand side, the value and the prime value. They are the hotels that include, really they're all about grab and go facilities. So grab your food and off you go into the parks, whether it be in the diners, whether it be in Starbucks, but it's just very, very simple way of working, getting out and making the maximum of your time in the parks. On the right-hand side, when you move into the Lowe's, Sapphire Falls, right up to the Portofino Bay Hotel, those 4 hotels on that side, they have the diners and they have the Starbucks, but also included, you can change and go a la carte. If you want to eat in the a la carte restaurants and have full service, you can do. If you're sitting around the poolside, then you can have waiter service to your sunbeds as well. So that's the difference, is you go up into those preferred and premier levels and the service changes a little bit more. Just to mention, I think many of you will already know that within all of our 8 hotels, you get not only all of the shuttle buses, water taxis from 4 of them, but all of the transportation in and out of the parks all day long is included. but also you get early park admission when you stay in the 8 Universal hotels. So you can go into the parks up to 1 hour earlier than the customers who are queuing up at the gate. So 1 hour early park admission. And then for those 3 hotels, the premier hotels, again, just to reiterate, that's the Hard Rock Hotel, the Portofino Bay Hotel, and the Royal Pacific Resort. They also, when you stay there, you get Universal Express Unlimited as part of staying in the hotel. So your room key, it doubles up to become an express pass on the ride. So that's the difference with them. And yeah, that's the update on our 9,000 rooms in our hotels in Orlando. I want to move across across America to talk a little bit about Universal Studios Hollywood and, of course, the opening of Super Nintendo World. If you missed this, it opened 11 days ago in Hollywood to a massive fanfare, press, celebrities. Everything went on at Hollywood 11 days ago when it opened. We've been waiting a long time for this to come. We opened Super Nintendo World in Japan last year. It's been an amazing success, and now it has come to Hollywood. So just an incredible oh, I'm going to play the video first.
Hey, hello, we
Welcome to Toadstool Cafe!
Let's go!
For the last 11 days, I've had that "let's go" in my head. I can't get rid of it. But as you can see there, just very much in the theming of things that Orlando, like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the new Jurassic World Velocicoaster, Volcano Bay. This now is such a new immersive world. This is like going up to another level. Very, very colourful, as you can see, innovative, very immersive, and a really highly themed land. People have been blown away when they go inside there just to experience it. So it's very much a spectacle of colour with a lot of groundbreaking rides, interactive activity. I'm wearing today, I don't know whether you can see me at the moment, but if not, I'll show you later, but I'm wearing one of the 6 power-up bands that you can purchase. These are around about $40 in the park. You don't have to have one for Super Nintendo World, but what basically this means is that you can participate in so many extra games and activities, collecting coins, collecting stamps, but you can also link this power-up band to your app, to the park app, and then you can play games with your friends and your family when you're there as well. So you're not only playing individual games, but you're also you're also playing against your friends if you want to as well. It just basically engages all the family, and it's really like a journey from the minute you walk through the very iconic green warp pipe and into the land, into Peach's Castle and the Mushroom Kingdom. It's just unbelievable. They have the Toadstool Cafe as well, so very, very highly themed cafe in there. And as you saw on there as well, they have the One Up store, which is where you can buy all of the merchandise, including, of course, probably one of the most popular characters, Super Mario. And we have this amazing ride, which is the signature ride within Super Nintendo World, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, which, as you can see there with the interactive goggles on there as well, it's very much augmented reality, virtual reality against live sets, and it's just the most incredibly themed ride that I think Universal have ever produced. So let's have a little look at that.
Let's go!
There it is again. One of the key reasons as well for just mentioning this is that even though this possibly has been the worst kept secret, our park president, when he opened the park, when he opened Super Nintendo World 11 days ago, also did mention that Super Nintendo World is coming to Orlando in 2025. This is the area where we're building the fourth park, Universal's Epic Universe. As you can see there, it's around about nearly 3 miles southeast of the current parks, and there's Endless Summer Resort just there, a little bit in the middle. So continue down Universal Boulevard, and in around about 10 to 15 minutes, you get to the land, which will be Universal's Epic Universe. So we're not really saying too much in the press about Universal's Epic Universe yet, because we don't want to deter people from going in 2023 or 2024 because they're going to wait till 2025 when this new park opens. So we're saying very little about it, but our park president did mention that certainly one of the lands that will be Universal's Epic Universe will be Super Nintendo World in 2025. So that's hot off the press. And I just wanted to mention again, just with any of your customers that are traveling to either park, please get them to download the Universal Resort app for both Hollywood and for Orlando, because they are really great. They're free of charge, just like everything. We haven't complicated things too much. We don't have any reservation systems for the parks. The app is free of charge. It does so many different functions, and it's great to have on your phone when you go there. And also for yourselves as our trade partners, I just wanted to mention that we do have the universalpartnercommunity.com. If you haven't registered to this, I know I've mentioned it so many times before, but when you register for the first time, please just make a note of that company code that's there. That company code then will link you into the system. You can create your own password, and on here you can do everything from our fantastic training on Universal Orlando and Hollywood. You can see blogs, videos, all sorts of ask any sort of questions you want of the community and get the answers that you need. But of course, as well, I've said this before, but if you complete the training, then you are able to get 50% on tickets for Orlando. You can get up to 4 tickets into the parks for you and your family and your friends. And then as of April, we are going to announce a new incentive for Hollywood as well. So at the moment, you can only get discount off the Universal Orlando tickets, but after April, we will also have some kind of discount for Hollywood that we're just waiting to be confirmed. So that is everything from me. Just a quick update for you all. Thanks for listening. I'm going to just come back to Peter just to see if anything was in the chat, yes. Peter, that I need to answer.
No, David, it was all clear. I didn't see any questions in the chat box. I do have a question myself about Epic Universal.
Yep.
If I'm looking right on the map, then it shows like the size of that park will be the size of the 3 parks together?
Well, that's originally what we've been told. We haven't had it exactly confirmed, because I think the whole land won't necessarily just be parkland. It won't be just there. So the actual space that will be used, it's hard to say at the moment. We haven't had that confirmed. But the actual size of the whole land is pretty much the same size as what we have already, yes.
Okay. Excellent.
So a lot more to come out about that yet, I think, but it will be slow. I think it will be what we call drip feed. So little bits of information at a time along the way.
Very good.
Stay tuned.
We have to keep going, eh?
We have to keep going, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you,
now let's welcome Norbert. Norbert, well, we already welcomed you 20 minutes ago, but now it's your turn, Norbert, about Seaworld.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Dave. Yeah, so Epic Universal will bring you even closer to SeaWorld. So it's only halfway to our parks.
Neighbors.
So there's really nothing else to do in that part of the area. So let me get my presentation up. And I want to be able, wait a second. I'm doing that. Make sure that I get some sound, and off we go. So I'm hoping that you can see my presentation now, and moving right along, because I want to show you so much as well. But to start out, just a reminder again that although Dave and I will be talking mostly about or have talked about Florida and California as the big place to go for theme parks. We do, as SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, have some parks in other areas of the US as well, up in Virginia, Busch Gardens, or in Texas, SeaWorld. But of course, the Europeans and the Belgians certainly would be coming mostly to our parks in Florida and also out in California and San Diego. So let's start out with a little video in Orlando. We have 3 parks in Orlando, and 2 of them are in the videos that I know about, but also our water park. Both of these parks are really family-oriented. Oops. My fault. Sorry about that. So let's start out. Yes.
No, sorry to interrupt you. We could hear the sound of the video, but we couldn't hear the explanation you gave.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No problem. Just
no
letting
problem.
you know.
I'll just leave the music playing during the videos. It's probably better anyway. So I just wanted to start out with saying that SeaWorld and Aquatica, our 2 family parks in Orlando, are are there for the whole family. So for the younger and even for the older generation, there's plenty to do at our parks. Of course, our SeaWorld park is known for the animal, and we are, of course, also a zoological institution. So all of the larger marine mammals in and around the ocean can be seen at our parks, and we do have presentations with these animals, continue to have those at our parks as well. These presentations have become a lot more educational and showcase the behaviors of the animals in the ocean, but are specifically designed to make the children realize what wonderful animals these are, and also to try to teach them that we have to change the way that we treat the ocean to make sure that these animals continue to survive out in the wild. But of course, any kind of animals, the dolphins, the orcas, and the sea lions, there are many habitats where you can get very close to them and meet them. And for example, here at the sea lion, up close, Pacific Point Reserve, you can also feed them if you enjoy that type of activity. One of my favorite habitats with the animals at SeaWorld is Antarctica, Empire of the Penguin. Not so much because I enjoy penguins also, but this is a really different type that I don't think you will experience anywhere else. That we really bring you so close to the animals, we actually remove the glass wall. So you are actually in the same temperatures as a penguin, so it's quite cold. You do not just feel the temperatures, the cold air, but you also, of course, hear the penguins, and yeah, there's a bit of odor as well that you can see. But it's always enjoyable to see our visitors in their shorts and t-shirts going into Antarctica, because it's incredibly cold down there, below freezing. But that's how we keep the people from staying there too long. So they move along and out after about 10 minutes. Before we go to some of the new attractions, I do want to talk a little bit about criticism that has been targeted at SeaWorld in the last few years from animal activists. It's really difficult discussion to have. I and all of us at the park are convinced that zoos, unfortunately, are still important to show and to save the animals. And what's missing from some of these discussions is that since 1965, a year after Seaworld in San Diego opened, we have always been an animal rescue institution. So from almost day one, we have rescued ill, injured and sick animals, rehabilitated them at the parks, but also returned them back into the ocean. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at the number, we reached a milestone last summer of 40,000 rescued animals that, thanks to SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, are still out there and living in the wild. So that's really something that you also support with a visit to one of our parks. But of course, being a theme park, and specifically in Orlando, we want to make a visit to the parks, of course, exciting as possible. And what better way to have fun in Florida in the heat is also to cool down. And we do have a number of water rides there, such as Infinity Falls here in the picture. It has one of the highest drops for a water ride, and you know, actually go up with an elevator within the inner tube. So that's something that I would certainly in summertime suggest that your visitors try to cool off a little bit. But of course, you can also use or do the wind in one of our roller coasters. Dave was talking about everyone in Orlando, Universal and SeaWorld and Busch Gardens adding many new attractions, and I'll be showing you some of those in a moment. And one of our most famous and still better rides is Manta. It's a flying coaster where you actually before the ride begins, it's a flying coaster, we call it. So your feet are dangling in the seat, so there's no floor to the roller coaster. And then actually the seats fold to the back, and that means during the ride with Manta, you're actually face down. So it's supposed to be inspired by the Manta, the stingrays. So what better way to experience how a stingray swims through the ocean than by having a face-down roller coaster. So quite exciting, actually. Last year, we opened a new roller coaster called Icebreaker, inspired by the animal rescue activities in the Arctic and our partner there. This is quite a ride with a big punch. It goes backwards and forwards and loops, and what we call a multi-launch coaster that doesn't rely so much just on gravity, but also on magnetic propulsion. And I was surprised when I tried it myself at how exciting this little ride can actually be, because there's really no holding your breath during any portion of this ride. And in fact, I'll take you with for a little ride. So, I mean, to Icebreaker really opened in spring of last year and packs quite a punch. But what everyone is talking about, at least in our little corner of the world, is the new roller coaster that's opening in SeaWorld this spring called Pipeline. And you can see already from this image that it sort of looks like a surfboard, and that is exactly the intention. Pipeline the Surf Coaster is going to give you the impression of actually standing on a surfboard and surfing the waves. And you can see that the riders really aren't sitting. They do have a little ledge and a seat, but actually most of the ride is spent standing up. So this is going to be one of the first stand-up roller coasters in the world. And this will be opening a little bit later. You can see between Universal and Seaworld, Orlando is certainly roller coaster heaven, and all sorts of exciting rides there to be experienced. And it also almost makes it difficult to choose, where to go and how long to spend. But of course, one other park of ours is Aquatica, is our water park, and it's really been voted quite frequently as one of the best water parks in the US. Opened about 10, 15 years ago, over 40 different water slides, from easy slides for the younger children and infants to more extreme slides or rides like Ihu's Breakaway Falls here, where you actually step into a sort of like a plastic tube, looks like a little elevator tube, and then the floor gets pulled out under you, and you all of a sudden are in the middle of a almost perpendicular fall. So not something that everyone wants to enjoy, but something that is very exciting if the sun is there and you need a little bit cooling down. We of course have lazy rivers at Aquatica, or we have the wave pools that you would expect there as well. So really lots of excitement there as well. And there's even our newest ride, Reef Plunge, where you can actually sort of help the animals there enjoy by looking at something. So moving right along, so that were our two main parks in Orlando. Over in Tampa, which is about 75 minutes away, or about an hour and a half with the Busch Gardens Shuttle Express bus that you can also use. We have our park called Busch Gardens Tampa. And so over in Tampa, Busch Gardens and our water park, Adventure Island. So Busch Gardens is, of course, similar in the sense to SeaWorld that we also have animals. It's also a zoo, but of course, different types of animals. This is more of a safari park, so you have animals from the African continent, from various parts of, or Indian tigers, or from South America, that you could probably associate with more of a conventional zoo. But as the video showed, Busch Gardens is Florida's thrill ride leader. It has the most open-air roller coasters of any park in Florida, more than any of our parks in Orlando or SeaWorld itself. So if you have clients that are looking for excitement and thrilling rides, Busch Gardens is certainly the place to go. But of course, there's also the zoo habitats that can be seen there. And one thing that unfortunately I think many people pass by is going into the animal care center. So if you're really interested in the various animals that we have and some of our rescue activities, this is the best place to start and go. There's a veterinarian center there, and you can actually look and talk, separated by glass walls with the keepers there while they are doing procedures, or in the room before this one also learned quite a bit about the different types of foods that we have to have for the various animal species at the park. But of course, a lot of people go to Busch Gardens to experience the animal-inspired thrill rides that we have there. For example, Cheetah Hunt, a very quick but low ride that changes and slows and speeds quickly, like a cheetah would hunt its prey. Then we have something ridiculous like Falcon's Fury, which is North America's tallest freestanding drop tower. And to make it a little more exciting, you can see here in the picture as well that it's not just a simple up and down, but once you're at the top, the chairs that you're sitting in fold backwards, and this is a face down drop tower of over 100 meters tall. So you have a good view if you can keep your eyes open, but it's a very, very quick drop to the ground. A big roller coaster that we opened in springtime of last year is Ayangwazi, and I had to laugh when Dave was showing his video for Velociraptor, because it's so true. The Americans really can show enthusiasm in their videos, and we have one for Ayangwazi that is pretty similar to what you just heard.
That drop is intense. To another level. Oh my God.
Incredible. It was crazy.
So not to be outdone, or not to, the big attraction that we're opening this year, and actually it opened yesterday, is at Busch Gardens, is Serengeti Flyer. And Serengeti Flyer is not a roller coaster or a drop tower, but it is what we call a screaming swing. So generally speaking, it's nothing different than what you might have experienced as a child in your backyard. It's a swing, but this swing is extremely big and extremely tall. It's over 42 meters high, and that means it swings back and forth, and you actually reach heights of over, I think, 47 meters. So you're actually going higher than the top part of the swing, and up to 110 kilometers fast. Unfortunately, or fortunate, maybe, depending on your point of view, I don't have a video for this yet, but next time we see each other, I'll be able to show you some moving images of Serengeti Flyer, which opened at Busch Gardens Tampa yesterday, February 27th. So something new to add to your experience at Busch Gardens. Oh, I'm jumping back to Orlando again, not because I forgot Discovery Cove, but Discovery Cove is our third park in Orlando, and I always hesitate to call it a theme park. It's more of a day resort, because it isn't really something that you expect to find necessarily in Orlando, and it certainly isn't your typical theme themed resort. Discovery Cove is different in the sense that it is a limited admission product. You have to reserve and book a specific day to enter the park. And that's because we limit the amount of people that go into Discovery Cove. We provide everything that you need for the day. So the idea is at Discovery Cove to get into the water and interact with various animals yourself. Of course, it's a place to relax under the Florida sun. Nothing is taller than a palm tree, so many people don't even know that Discovery Cove is there when they're driving past. So what kind of animals can you interact with? You can, of course, don some snorkel equipment. You can go through our freshwater oasis, where there are animals to interact with that live in Florida's freshwaters. But there are also a Grand Reef with man-made coral reef with, I think, over 7,000 different tropical fish and some stingrays there without a sting, of course, so mantas that you can also touch and acquaint. And of course, many people go to Discovery Cove because of the dolphin interactions. This doesn't need to be booked as part of your Discovery Cove experience, and children have to be at least 6 years old to interact with the dolphin, but most people do, of course, also book the dolphin interactions when visiting Discovery Cove. Anyone booking Discovery Cove automatically gets free admission to Seaworld and Aquatica, our other two parks in Orlando. So the pricing is a little bit seasonal, so depending on the time of year, it can range between $280 up to $400, but including all meals, all drinks, free parking, dolphin interaction, and admission to SeaWorld and to Aquatica. And for a slight upsell of, I think, $25, you can also have Busch Gardens included in your Discovery Cove package. So this is something, of course, for those guests of yours going to Central Florida who have enough time to not just see the many Universal parks, but also to give us 4 days of their time while visiting. So mostly we see people coming to Discovery Cove on a second visit, or if they have a vacation home in the Kissimmee area and have enough time to spend in Central Florida. So that's our park. Those are our parks in Florida. I want to jump over to California the last few minutes of our time. And quite often I'm asked, what is the difference between a SeaWorld San Diego and SeaWorld in Orlando? The big difference is really a little bit in the size. Orlando is much bigger. But both parks have the same animal collections, the same habitats, and the same animal presentations. The difference really is more in the thrill rides and the attractions that you can experience at both parks. SeaWorld San Diego is actually the original park, opened I think in 1964, like I mentioned earlier, but otherwise very, very similar to SeaWorld in Orlando. We are adding roller coasters in SeaWorld San Diego as well, although the park is a little smaller, so we don't have quite so much space there. Last year, we opened a penguin-inspired roller coaster, which is a drop coaster inspired by penguins, like they dive into the ocean at the edge of the ice. That's Emperor, a drop coaster. And this year, later, in about a month or 6 weeks' time, we'll be opening a new coaster called Arctic Rescue. This will be a family-style roller coaster, what we call in American a straddle coaster. So you're like sitting on a snowmobile, and you will then experience running or driving out quickly, basically on the roller coaster to help rescue animals. And I think we have a little. So that's the end of my quick little presentation. You can see here my contact details if you need any further information. And of course, we also have travel agent discounts as well for you if you are going. And you can certainly write to me if you need some more information. I know there was lots of slides and lots of videos. So just as a reminder, the big new attractions that are opening in Seaworld San Diego, Arctic Rescue, in Seaworld Orlando, Pipeline, the surf coaster, and over in Busch Gardens, Serengeti Flyer. Those are the big new attractions at our parks for this year. So thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Norbert. Through the chat box, I didn't have any questions. So if somebody has a question, they can also ask it now. Okay, I think it was a lot of information, and apparently everything was very clear. It was nicely done with the videos as well, gives us a good idea of what the coasters are about. So this was excellent. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem. Did I unshare yet? Yes, I did. Okay.
And your information will be sharing in the newsletter dedicated to travel agents. So we will pass that on, and also the presentation will be available to look later on. So thank you so much, Dave and Norbert, for joining us. It was very, very interesting. I'm glad to have you guys here. And let's already make an appointment for next month. So next month, last Tuesday will be the 28th of March. And then we'll be flying through the skies with the Universal Airlines and get
Universal
flights.
Airlines, no.
Yes, so we have some, yeah. You already made us fly through roller coasters. Next time we'll be a little bit much higher in the sky. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us. See you next month. And Norbert and Dave, I'll see you in San Antonio, I guess. Thank you so much. Job very well done. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye,
everyone.
Peter. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Dave and Norbert. What a great webinar. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye.